What's going on, y'all? In today's video, I'm going to teach you how to play and set up Racekart Riot. Now, Racekart Riot is a racing game where you're going to be battling it out against the other players with bonuses you pick up or using shortcuts to get ahead of the other players, as well as special things that only you can do to hinder the other players, but they can hinder you as well. It's all in an attempt to grab the Ruby Cup and be crowned the winner of Racekart Riot. So let's go ahead and teach you how to play. So to set the game up, you want to make sure all coins are in reach of all players. Then you want to take out 3 banana mystery items from the mystery tokens and set them aside next to the board. You want to shuffle the card supply deck and set up 5 cards next to the deck, just like this. The dice, you want them to be in reach of all players. This is the first player token. We'll get to that in a moment. Your mystery items, it says you can leave them in the bag, but I found that it is also easy to just lay them on the table so that way you can mix them up easier. So you can leave them in the bag or put them on the table. Each player will choose their character, select their character boards, their miniature, and we want to place the miniatures right behind the start area. And then you want to take each of the characters' decks. They each have their own different decks. So we have the Lightning and Thunder. We have the Goat Lord here. Then we have Red Bane and Queen K. So we will take the Red Bane and Queen K. We'll put the rest back in the box. And then you want to shuffle each of the characters' decks. These are the movement decks. And place it on the character board, right where it says movement draw pile. So we'll do that for Red Bane. Put that here. Then each player gets a turn order card. This is really useful. It shows you the card combos and the points on the back. And then it also shows you what each power-up does. Banana, magnet, coins, snail. So it's really useful. Then each player will roll the 12-sided die to see who goes first. So an 8 for Red Bane and a 5 for Queen K. So Red Bane will get the first player token. The next thing you want to do is you want to make sure each player has essentially 10 coins. So you're going to give them 5 singles and a number 5 coin. So we'll do that over here as well. Red Bane gets it and also gets a 5. There we go. Then you want to take 3 coins and place 3 coins on each of the spaces with a coin on it on the map. And there we go. So each race is going to be played until one player finishes 2 laps. So from here all the way around and then again all the way around. And a round is consisted of 4 phases. On the first phase, you're going to take a card from the card supply area. Now you can't take it from the card supply deck, just the cards that are face up here. Now the way this works is the card that's furthest from the deck is going to be free, and every other card after that is going to cost 1 more coin. So for example, if you want this card over here, you can take it for free without paying any coins. If you want this one right here, you're going to have to pay 1 coin, and you'll be able to take that card. Now, if you want this one here, it costs 2 coins. So you put 2 coins on the cards before it, and then you can grab that. Same over here. If you want this card, it's going to be 3 coins. So you put 3 coins leading up to that card. So 1 on each card before it. And the final one, if you want this card over here, it's going to cost 4 coins. So you put 1 coin on each card before that one, and you can take that. Now, whenever it's somebody else's turn and they come to pick up a card, the coins will stay there until that card is removed. So say Red Bane just went and he did all of this and he picked up this card. Then you will refresh it and leave those coins there. So if Queen K comes along and she decides that she wants this card right here, she can pay 1 coin and take this card right here, and she gets to collect whatever coins are on top of that card. Now when you collect a card from the card supply area, you're going to put it over here on your player board. So we have the bumper, the chassis, caboose, and then these are where you put items. So this is where you put one of those items, and let's give another example. This is where you put the caboose to your cart. Now there is no limit to the amount of items or carts that you can have on your board. You can have as many cart parts as you want on your board, as well as many items. When you use the item, it'll go right here into your used and completed items area. When you get 3 different parts, you are allowed to lock that cart, but you also can't add to it to change up the value or points. So for example, this would be considered a completed cart. So you are allowed to lock those 3 cards into the used and completed items. So you can lock that and nobody can steal from it. When taking a card supply card, you always must take a card supply card. Even if you have no coins, you just take the free one that's going to be furthest away from the deck. And then of course, whenever a card is taken from the supply, you're going to replenish them by moving the cards down this way. And then you're going to replenish to the leftmost empty space. So again, for example, let's say we took this one here. Let's say we took this one here. We would move all of these down, and then we would just replenish the leftmost space. After the cart supply phase, you will go into phase 2. Phase 2, you will be able to use any mystery attack items that you have collected. So these will be stored right here, and when the time comes in phase 2, you are allowed to use them. So like this one here, this would be the time to use it. But it is skipped in the first round. The second phase, or third phase rather, after you have gotten your cart supply cards and, if applicable, used any mystery attack items, third phase is going to be movement. So you will grab 2 cards from your movement deck. So when using these, you have lap 1 and lap 2. What that means is that for the first lap, you're going to use the top part. And then, as soon as somebody crosses the finish line into their second lap, that's when you'll start using lap 2. It doesn't matter if you're not in the second lap yet. As long as somebody else has crossed into the second lap, you will start using the bottom part for the lap 2. So lap 1, top part, lap 2, bottom part. So Red Bane, again, we'll go with 8. And then when you are done selecting your card, you're going to place the one that you didn't choose underneath the deck face up. And what that does is when you get to that card, it tells you it's time to shuffle your deck. And then of course you will have more than one card at the end. So let's say we had a few like this. When we got to this card, so we're going through the deck, when we get to there, it just means to reshuffle the deck and flip it back over. So let's keep this one like that. The fourth phase in a round is going to be extra movement. So let's say, let's do this really quick. Let's say Red Bane chose his 8, and then let's say Queen K chose her card. Now in this instance, where they are both still at the start area, and Queen K has these cards that say steal 2 coins from first place or steal 2 movement from first place. Now she can use these right now, even though there's not really a deciding factor of who's first and who's second, but Red Bane does have the first player token, so technically he's first place. So she could play this, steal 2 movement from first place, and then she will take this. She could also play this one, steal 2 coins from first place. So technically right now, first place is Red Bane because he has the first place token. If there was somebody in first place without the token, then that person would be first place on these cards of Queen K's. But for right now, it's Red Bane because he has the first player token, and no first player has been decided. So steal 2 movement from first place. So instead of 8, he will get 6. So let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Queen K will get 3. So 1, 2, 3. And I'll go over the board rules in a moment. So after you have completed your third phase, which is the movement, you get to have the fourth phase. Now let me show you what that looks like. Phase 4 will be the extra movement phase. So after everybody has completed their moves, and any other movement that happens with the board rules, which I'll get to in a moment, they can use their extra movement cards. So we have the lightning, which gives you +1 turbo if in first, 2 turbo if in middle, and 4 turbo if in last. The speedway is a +2 turbo. And then if you have vinegar and baking soda, that's a +1 turbo. So phase 4 is the time to use those. That is after everybody has taken their movement, you can use one of these cards. So for example, speedway +2 turbo, everybody's already moved. And then Queen K has the +2 turbo. She can use 1, 2. Now if she has all 3 of these, she can actually use them all at the same time. So if she has the speedway, the lightning, and the baking soda and vinegar, she can use them all at once. So say she was here, speedway is +2, the lightning, she's in last, so you would want to use the lightning first if you're in last, because it gives you +4 turbo. So she's in last, she would use the lightning first. She would go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the speedway, 1, 2, and then she could also use the baking soda and vinegar, which is another +1. So she could do +1. And that is phase 4, extra movement. Let's go ahead and go over the board rules. I'm going to start with the exclamation point here. As you can see, they're all over the board. So whenever you land on an area with an exclamation point, you're going to take the 8-sided dice and you're going to roll it. And this number corresponds to an event or something over here in this little box. So we have event roll outcomes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I rolled an 8, so I would be able to steal a cart part from any other player. Then the other ones are throw a banana, advance 2 spaces, pick up 3 gold, move back 1 space, cart supply pickup, pay 1 gold, mystery item pickup, and then of course steal cart part like we just said. Next thing on the board is the coin spot areas. Now the way you pick up these coins is you have to also stop in an area with the coins. You can't just drive past it and pick those coins up. You actually have to land there to be able to remove those coins and add them to your stash. Next we have the mystery item pickup and the cart supply pickup as well. Let's go over the mystery item pickup first. Now the way this one works is whenever you pass a mystery item pickup, you are then able to pick up a mystery item from a bag or the mystery token area. So we can just grab this and then it'll go face up here. And that is just whenever you pass it. You don't have to land on it like you do with the coins or the exclamation point. Next we have the card supply pickup. The way this works is going to be the same way as the coins and the exclamation point, which means that whenever you land on it, that's when you get to use that. So for instance, if Red Bane landed on the card supply pickup here, he would be able to grab a card supply card just like in the first phase. So you can get the free one or you can pay for any other one that you would like. After that, we have the roll 5 to 12 to pass. So what you're going to do here is you're going to take the green die and you're going to roll it. If it's 5 to 12, you get to pass it, continuing your movement. If it is not 5 to 12, you do not get to pass and have to wait to your next turn to be able to pass the lava. Or you can use one of those extra movement cards we talked about earlier, like the speedway +2 turbo. So in the extra movement phase, you can use that and continue your movement instead of waiting for your next turn. When crossing the lava is not counted as a space. You would just continue onto the next space here. So let's say he had 2 movement, he successfully got it. It would be 1, 2, not 1, 2. We also have the bonus area over here as well. So when going this route, you have a chance to roll into the bonus area. The way that works is you're also going to roll the green die from, you're looking for 11 to 12, and nope, it would have been a miss. So if you're on this one and you don't get the 11 to 12, you have to just keep going ahead there. Now these right here, this is considered 1, and then right here where the black line is, that's the second one. So you only have 2 spaces here on this bonus track. The next area we have is a pay 2 coins to pass. Now, of course, that means is to pass through this area, it is 1 space, but you're gonna have to pay 2 coins into the reserve. So you would take 2 coins from your stash, pay it to the reserve, and then you can pass this freely. Then again, we have another roll 5 to 12 to pass, and if you fail, then you're going to have to wait there to your next turn unless you use an extra movement to get past that in the extra movement stage. Now, both of the lava areas are able to stop you once per lap. So that means you can be stopped by this one once per lap, and then you can also be stopped by this one once per lap. Next area we have is, again, pay 2 coins. So what happens here is if you land on it, you're just going to have to pay 2 coins, and that goes into the reserve. Some of your movement cards are going to have these special attacks on them. So we have Throw Fireball level 5 and Throw Cat level 5. So the level is the number on the dice that somebody needs to roll to avoid the hit. So the way this works is you're gonna, so let's say Red Bane wanted to throw a fireball. He would take the 8-sided die for distance, he would roll it, so he got 8. So he could either throw it 8 behind him or 8 in front of him. So let's say he wants to throw it 8 in front of him and then try to attack Queen K. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it would be able to hit her. Now she has to roll the green die to see if she can avoid it. When it means level 5 is she has to roll that number to avoid it. Unlike with the egg, they would have to roll between 5 and 12. She would have to roll an actual 5. So let's see, she would roll, she would get a 6, but that is not a 5, so she would get hit by the fireball and lose 2 movement. Again, both of these would happen at the beginning of the movement phase before everybody starts to move. Let's go over the special rules for the other side of the board. We have most of the same things here. We have the exclamation points, mystery item tokens, the coins, of course. But we also have some new things. We have the treasure island, we have crabs, we have a shark area, and then we have a secret waterfall. So let's go over the crabs first. So you want to roll a 5 to 10 to pass through the crabs. If you roll an 11 to 12, you get to pass this way. But if you roll a 1 to 4, you have to stay there and wait your next turn to be able to move out of there. Now, just like the lava, if you use an extra movement, you are able to pass through the crabs without having to wait your next turn to get out of there. But you would continue along the regular path and not the shortcut. So when you take this shortcut and you pass through this cart supply pickup, you are actually able to pick up a card from the cart supply area without having to stop on it. Unlike the normal ones, where you actually have to stop on them to be able to pick up a card from the cart supply area. Let's go to Treasure Island next. So the way Treasure Island works is if you take this shortcut here, you're going to be stopped at Treasure Island no matter how many movement you have left. So let's say you have 12 movement and you're going to take this shortcut here, you're going to be stopped at Treasure Island. The bonus is that you get to collect 6 coins from the reserve. And this can only be done once per lap per player. Then we have the low and high tide areas here. This is kind of a shortcut. It's more of a way to get more bonuses and things like that. So the low tide means that if you roll a 1 to a 5, you're going to have to go on all of the spaces that are, and the way you can remember that is they will kind of be outlined by water, right? Low tide, you're going to have to hit all the spaces. If it's high tide, you're looking for a 6 to 12, and you only have to go on the places that are above water. So the places that look like a beach or sandy, you would only have to hit those. So it's in your best interest to try and hit high tide. So for instance, say Red Bane got high tide, he would just have to hit these areas. But remember, if you hit Treasure Island, then your movement immediately stops. Now if he hit low tide, he would have to hit all these areas, and then still movement would stop at Treasure Island, and then he would still continue. Now once you decide to try and take this and you roll the die, you have to take it no matter what. You can't see the outcome and then decide you don't want to take it. And then also each player is going to have their own high or low tide roll. Each player that goes through this area is going to have to roll. Next we have the secret waterfall. So with this area over here, before leaving the area with the coins, you're going to roll the green die again, and you're shooting for 11 or 12 to pass this shortcut. If you don't get 11 or 12, then you just continue onto the normal path. We have the shark area here. So what you're going to do is you pay 1 coin for a chance to roll 8 or 12. So you pay 1 coin to the reserve, and what that does is it gives you a chance to roll 8 or 12. All right, that is a 12. He would be able to go and take this shortcut, which is awesome. The sharks don't count as a space themselves, so if you're over here, say you have 2 movement, 1, 2, and it's not 1, 2. So that's pretty awesome. If you don't roll an 8 or a 12, either way, you're going to lose your coin. But if you don't roll an 8 or a 12, you have to continue through the main path. If you enjoyed watching this video and you want to learn how to play more board games, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell. I'll be posting more videos soon. Thanks for watching. The Other Board Gamer.